In 1518, hundreds of people in one city began dancing uncontrollably. Some danced for days, some collapsed from exhaustion. No one knows exactly why. This is one of the strangest and most documented events in human history. Before we get into it, if you're new here, subscribe. We cover the strangest true stories history somehow forgot to warn us about. Now, let's get into this. The year is 1518. The city is Strasbourg, a busy medieval hub in what was then the Holy Roman Empire in modern-day France. The city had been hit by repeated crop failures, famine, and epidemics. The population was physically weak, emotionally strained, and pushed to the edge. Religious tension was also running high in the wake of Martin Luther's 1517 challenge to the Catholic Church. The world these people knew was crumbling. And then, on a hot July morning, one woman walked out of her front door and started dancing. On July 14th, 1518, on the narrow cobbled street outside her half-timbered home, Frau Tropea was reportedly seized by spasmodic, convulsive movement and continued dancing uncontrollably all day until she collapsed. No music, no celebration, no explanation. Her husband begged her to stop. But Tropea began dancing again the next day, on swollen, bloody feet, and the day after that, and the day after that. She kept going for nearly a week straight. And then the unthinkable happened. Other people started joining her. Before long, some 36 other residents had joined in. By August, the dancing epidemic had claimed as many as 400 victims. They danced in the market square, they danced in the alleys, they collapsed against church walls and, after a few hours of twitching sleep, rose and continued. Now, here's where the story gets even stranger, because of what the authorities decided to do about it. The city council took the outbreak seriously and consulted doctors, who ruled out supernatural causes. Instead, local physicians blamed it on hot blood and suggested the afflicted simply dance the fever away. So, the city's solution? More dancing. Space was cleared for the dancers, and dozens of professional musicians were hired to accompany them night and day. They built a stage. They brought in pipers and drummers. They essentially threw a forced, nightmarish festival and told the victims to sweat it out. Some healthy residents joined just to watch, feed them, and help them when they fell, which only helped spread the contagion. It got worse, much worse. Faced with failure, the city council eventually reversed course, banning orchestras, music, and dancing in the streets entirely. The afflicted were then sent to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, a Catholic saint, whom 16th century Europeans believed had the power to both cause and cure a dancing plague. Whether the shrine cured them or the epidemic simply burned itself out, no one can say. By September, Strasbourg's streets were quiet. So, what actually caused it? Historians and scientists have been debating this for centuries, and honestly, there's still no consensus. Theory 1. Ergot poisoning. Ergot is a fungus that grows on rye grain and produces alkaloids similar to LSD. Contaminated bread could cause convulsions, hallucinations, and a burning sensation in the limbs. It sounds compelling, but historian John Waller, who wrote the most comprehensive study of the event, largely dismissed this theory, pointing out that ergot typically causes paralysis, not uncontrolled movement. Theory 2. Mass psychogenic illness. This is the theory most historians now accept. Waller argued that the dancing plague was a form of mass psychogenic disorder, outbreaks that take place under circumstances of extreme stress and generally take shape based on local fears and beliefs. In other words, the dancers weren't faking. They were caught in a trance state induced by extreme stress and reinforced by cultural belief. They danced because they believed they had been cursed, and that belief made the curse real. Think about it. These people had survived famine, disease, and social collapse. They genuinely feared St. Vitus could condemn them to eternal dancing. One woman starts, and the fear spreads like a virus, because in their minds, it was entirely possible this was happening to them too. And here's the thing, this wasn't even the first time. It was the most fatal and best documented of more than 10 such outbreaks that had broken out along the Rhine and Moselle rivers since 1374. Similar manias took place in Switzerland, Germany, and Holland, though few were as large or deadly as the one in 1518. The dancing plague of 1518 is not a legend. It is documented in city council minutes, physician reports, cathedral sermons, and regional chronicles. The event itself is not in historical dispute. The explanation is, and that might be the most unsettling part. We have the records. We know it happened. We just still don't fully understand how hundreds of people can lose control of their own bodies, driven there by nothing more than fear, stress, and belief. The dancing stopped in September 1518. The stage was dismantled, the musicians went home, life in Strasbourg moved on, but the questions never went away. What does it tell us that an entire city could be overtaken, not by a virus, not by a poison, but by a shared psychological breaking point? That the mind, under enough pressure, can do something this extreme to the body. Maybe the scariest thing about the dancing plague of 1518 isn't that it happened 500 years ago. It's that we still don't know what stopped it. If you made it this far, subscribe. Drop a comment below with what you think actually caused it, and check out the next video, because history is full of stories exactly like this one, and we're just getting started.